History, where two best friends tell you about a noun, a person, a place, or a thing that happened in history.
Or an idea.
Today it's a person. And I am Emileigh, and this is Morgan.
Hello.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good. I have been super productive today. I went to the gym and I walked over 3 miles.
Wow.
And I went to the library and I did some work on the pod. And I was like, hell yeah, look at me. Productive member of society.
Like a productive queen today.
Yes.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Welcome. I had a dentist appointment with one of my children. I had a doctor's appointment today. And then the rest of my house is just chaos because, guys, I did it again. I tore down another wall because I was mad at its existence.
Oh.
Didn't like the linen closet in my kid's bathroom, and I was cleaning the kid's bathroom, and it just got on my nerves. So I took the door down, and I was like, well, the door's down. I might as well take the frame down. And the frame's down, and then my son got involved. And I was like, well, I've got to help her. So we took all the drywall off, and I don't think it's load-bearing. Should I have got that checked out before I took all the drywall off? Probably, but I was on a roll. So
it's a closet. It shouldn't be load bearing.
You would think, but that little weird wall in the living room was partially load bearing, and I'm like, I don't trust anything in this house. So
that's true.
Once I get the go ahead, those studs are coming down. I ripped it out in the middle of cooking dinner. Like a chaos goblin that I am.
You're a multitasker.
I just like to have a difficult life, apparently. I really do.
Nothing can be easy for you.
No, why would I do that? Where's the fun in that? Doing things with a plan. I could never.
There is something I wanted to share.
Yeah.
I had a kind of, I wouldn't say a breakthrough, but I took a really big step this past weekend for me and you, Emily, and I guess the listeners too. So Kyle and I went to go visit his sister and sister-in-law in Columbus, Ohio, this past week, and it was awesome. We got to see their new house. We got to do some fun things, and the Columbus Pride Parade was that Saturday that we were going to be in town. And I won't go into too many details, but Kyle's sister, her job, they were going to be in the parade, and she has a wife, so, you know, Pride is very meaningful to them. And so they were telling us, you know, because as Emily knows, and for you listeners, I have a crippling crowd phobia.
Yes.
Emily has seen it in action. Like, if I'm in a crowd, I will literally go gray and start slurring my words. I have been known to, like, black out and run away.
Yes. I had to drag her out of a bridal convention once. Like, running and pushing people drag. So, yes.
I'll start dissociating. It's not good. Like, it's, like, I can't even look at pictures, like even just talking about it starting to like get me a little worked up. Kyle showed me a picture of a protest from this past Saturday in New York with like 10,000 people, and I literally gagged. And I had to go like find a corner and like listen to music and do deep breathing exercises. Like, it is a legit phobia. And I am very supportive of Pride and the gay community, but because of my phobia, I've never gone to a Pride parade because just the idea that there's going to be a lot of people there turns me off of the whole thing. Right. And so I was like, I'm going to be a big girl and at least try for my sisters-in-law. And Kyle was so great. He was so supportive. He was like, you know, he's like, let's try, but if it's too much for you, just let me know and we'll leave immediately. Like, we're going on your call. As you can probably imagine, the parking situation was horrible, and that got me all anxious. I was like, there's no parking in the entire downtown area. There's like 5 million people here, like starting to already catastrophize the whole thing. But we did find parking, and we walked to where the parade was, and I was okay. And we're getting closer, and my anxiety started to peak a little bit, but then we got to the parade route, and it wasn't horrible. Like, there were people, but like, I was in the back, like, but I could still see some of the parade, and we actually got there just in time for Kyle's sister and sister-in-law to pass us, and then they're like, come join us, and we ran and joined the parade.
Oh, that's great.
Which was really cool, and it was a lot less crowded. It was much less crowded, and I got to see everyone's awesome outfits and signs, and I didn't see most of the parade. It was apparently huge.
That's awesome, though.
So, yeah,
You went to a parade!
I went to a pride parade, and it was so awesome, and it's given me courage to potentially go to Nashville's next year, because I think we've already had ours.
Yeah.
And if it was like the one in Columbus, like, it should be fine. The thought of it, I'm still like my heart's starting to quicken a little bit thinking about it, but maybe it'll be fine next year.
Yeah. You could find, like, go ahead and scope out, like, when they tell you the route of it, scope out a good, like, open spot that you could, like, maybe duck into somewhere if you had to.
Maybe sit on, like, a slight hill and, like, use binoculars to, like, look into the parade.
On a grassy knoll, Morgan?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Emily knows, because she's known me for so long, how big of a deal this is.
I literally looked into the voids of her eyes and been like, oh, we need to leave. Like, she's just, like, not even responding to her name. There's, like, a cold sweat sheen on her forehead. We need an open space. It's so bad.
Like, legit phobia. So, yeah, that was a big step for me, and my sisters-in-law were so happy. They're like, we know, like, we said it wasn't going to be a big deal if you guys didn't come, but we're so happy that you guys did come, and I was really glad to support them in that way, because they were so happy, and yeah.
That's great. I'm so proud of you, Morgan.
Thank you. I'm proud of me, too, and Kyle was so proud of me. Like, he, like, gave me such a big hug, and he was like, I'm so proud of you, baby. You did such a good job, and I didn't have to take my emergency medicine at all.
Yay!
Yay!
Even better!
I know. I was trying not to. I almost did. I was like, as soon as we, like, because when we couldn't find parking, I was starting to cry, and then we found parking, and I was like, okay, one obstacle surpassed.
Yeah. Me and crowds, the older I get, the less I like them, but it's not like you.
Yeah.
I hate trying to find parking anywhere. I will get somewhere 30 minutes early and sit in my vehicle if that means that the parking situation is going to be fine. And when I tell people to come over to the house, like for the first time, if I'm meeting a new friend, I will give them clear parking directions with options, so whatever works best for them, because I'm like, I hope other people are like I don't want them to show up and be like, where do I park, oh my god, and then panic. Because I've actually had a lot of friends do that, because my house is kind of weird, so I'm like, here's instructions.
Yes, which I appreciate, because not being able to find parking gives me, and as y'all can't tell, if y'all can't tell, I'm an incredibly anxious person, like medicated anxious, and if I can't find parking, it sends me in a tailspin. I don't know why. I think it's not just like I can't find parking, but now I have to maneuver this like 2,000-pound death trap, like, while also like having to keep my eyes off the road to look for parking. Yeah, it's very anxiety inducing. And try not to hit a pedestrian.
I got over the worst of it when I was in college, because sometimes I would drive our mega cab, our 2500 mega cab to school on college campus, and have to park that thing at UTC, trying to find a parking spot for a vehicle the size of a small school bus.
Yes.
Was a nightmare. And there was one day I had to do like the Austin Powers 32-point turn to get out, because somebody had parked in like the worst spot humanly possible for me to get out. And I was like, I hate all of this. So yeah, I started getting there super early.
I don't blame you at all. I do the same thing.
There was one day I had to park my little Cherokee in such a tight spot. I climbed out through the window, and then when I got back to my vehicle, nobody had moved. So I climbed in through the hatch, and my plan was to back up, get out, and then like close the hatch again. Somebody walking by was like, didn't even faze them. They're like, "You want me to close that?" I was like, "Yeah, that'd be great, dude."
How nice.
I know, it was very nice. Should we get into it?
Let's do it.
We got a good one today.
I'm excited.
Harvey Milk is delivering a speech on the steps of San Francisco City Hall during a mass rally to celebrate California Gay Freedom Day on June the 25th of 1978.
Hope that all will be all right. Without hope, not only gays, but the blacks, the seniors, the handicapped, the us's will give up. And if you help elect to the Central Committee and other offices more gay people, that gives a green light to all who feel disenfranchised, a green light to move forward. It means hope to a nation that has given up, because if a gay person makes it, the doors are open to everyone. So if there is a message I have to give, it is that I found one overriding thing about my personal election. It's the fact that if a gay person can be elected, it's a green light. And you, and you, and you have to give people hope. Thank you very much.
We love you, Harvey! Thank you! This speech was given just 5 months before Harvey's assassination. In the few years he was in the public eye, he had become a beacon of hope for not only gays, but all minority communities. I know, it's so sad. Morgan.
Oh no.
I know. Guys, I love this man so much. I want him. I know I say that about a lot of people, but like, I want to be his friend.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be his friend. I want to build a time machine and go back, and I want to give this man the biggest hug on this planet. Because he's just such a good guy.
Oh.
Anyway, if you do not know who Harvey Milk is, he is the first elected gay official in the United States. Openly gay. Very much openly gay.
Yeah.
And he was elected into the Board of Supervisors in San Francisco in 1977, so we will definitely get into that. But before we do, I would like to make just a quick statement. So in the 80s, they made a documentary called The Life and the Times of Harvey Milk. I think it's called The Times of Harvey Milk. Very well done. And I'm sure you do too, I love finding sources that were from closer to the time that it actually happened.
Yes.
Because there were tons of people that were interviewed in this documentary that actually, like the woman that helped get him elected was interviewed. So, I mean, people who really knew him, and I absolutely adore that. But as a kid from the 90s, the only thing I could think of was the narrator sounded like Yao from Mulan somehow.
Was it, you know what, I'd be very interested if it was the actual actor, because I was just watching a video that mentioned him. I think his name is like Harvey Feinstein or something like that. And he was a huge out gay actor on Broadway and in Hollywood. So it actually wouldn't surprise me.
Oh my God, what if he was?
If he was the narrator.
Harvey.
It's like
Feinstein. Yeah, Fierstein. There's an R in there somewhere.
Oh, Firestein.
Okay, movies and shows. Hold on. Stand by. Oh my God, it is! I was like, Yao? Yao!
Yes.
Oh my God.
How did what? That makes a lot of sense, because I was just watching a YouTube video that talks about him and like how like he has written a lot of plays for Broadway.
Yeah.
And they've all been about like the gay experience and like actually depicting gays with like happy lives and outcomes. And like I watched like they showed like a really quick clip of him being interviewed by Barbara Walters. And she was like, she was just asking like really dumbass questions, and he was basically saying in very kind, polite words, these are dumbass questions about what it's like to be a gay man. He's like, I'm a man, I'm not attracted to straight men, I'm attracted to gay men. She asked, she's like, are you jealous of beautiful women? He's like, why would I be jealous of beautiful women? I'm not attracted to straight men.
I feel like I need to go find that now, because I would love to watch that. That sounds great.
Yes.
I can't believe that I didn't Google it, because I was like, oh my God, this just sounds like the guy from Mulan the whole time.
and
I just couldn't get past it, and it was.
He has like a condition where he has like extra vocal cords, or they're like overdeveloped or something, and that's why his voice is so hoarse and deep. Which
he
I'm
does
sure
have
has
a very unique voice.
Yes.
Okay. You know what? I was like, this is crazy. I even showed my cousin who was over at the house. I was like, listen to him.
And it was him the whole time.
I love it even more. Okay. He's one of my favorite characters in Mulan anyway. So I love him. Okay, back to Harvey.
Yes.
Not Mulan. So, his early childhood, he was born May 22nd of 1930 in Woodmere, New York. He is from a very small middle-class Jewish family. And they had founded the Jewish synagogue known in the New York Litvaks community. I think I'm saying that right. Litvaks.
Okay.
Litvaks community. And they were very big on civic engagement, on social interaction in their community. And he was the second son, and his father was Lithuanian.
Okay.
Whose name was William, who served in the U.S. Navy. And his mother, Minerva, who was also Lithuanian, was a yeomanette during World War I. Yeomanette? I don't know how to say this.
Like yeomanette? I think there's yes. Yeoman.
Yeomanette, yes.
Okay.
So it'd be yeomanette. Y-E-O-M-A-N.
Yeah, I think it's pronounced yeoman.
Yeomanette. Okay, thank you. So, Harvey and one of his siblings, Robert, worked in the family's department store called Milks, which is the cutest name for a department store. I just love his last name. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody else.
Their last name is Milk.
Milk. By the time he was 14 at Bayshore High School, he knew he was gay. He was a very popular student who had a very wide range in interest, from like opera to football. Very wide range. And he was just your ordinary student, kind of a practical joker, ordinary guy. Someone referred to him as a man's man in like high school. So, I don't think anyone suspected him to be gay in high school. In college, he went to the New York State College for Teachers, which is now State University of New York in Albany. He studied math and history. And he actually penned a very popular weekly newspaper, student newspaper column.
Okay.
And this is where he began questioning issues of diversity with kind of reflecting on what he was learning. After he graduated college in 1951, he enlisted in the Navy, following in his father's footsteps. He attended the Officer Candidate School in Newport, Rhode Island, and then was based in San Diego. And he served as a diving instructor. He was a multifaceted dude. He was just good at everything.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. And in 1955, he resigned at the rank of lieutenant junior. He resigned because he was starting to be questioned about his sexual orientation. So it was probably about the only choice he had at the time in the 50s.
Oh, that's sad.
I know. So the way I'm going to set the rest of this up is I'm just going to go ahead and get into his love life. I really could not find a whole lot about it. So I'm going to give kind of an overview. Just know that all of this is kind of happening in the background, because I want the forefront of this to be his career, because that is what's had the biggest impact.
Yeah.
So, but it is important. He did have relationships, very long-lasting relationships. So, in 1956, he met a guy named Joe Campbell at a park that was very popular for gay men in the Queens area. And he would write Campbell notes and poems, and they even moved in together after a short period of time. After about 6 years, they separated. In 1962, just about a year after he broke up with Campbell, he became involved with a guy named Craig Rodwell. He was 10 years younger than him. Rodwell was apparently the kind of guy that he was very involved in the gay rights organizations, to the point that I don't think Milk liked it very much, because Rodwell had a tendency to agitate the police, and I don't think that's kind of what Harvey's vibe was going for. So they broke up not too long after I think they got together. It's not really giving me a lot of dates, but it didn't seem like this one lasted very long. And then right before Harvey turned 34, he started a romantic relationship with I saw some say 16, some say 17-year-old guy named Jack McKinley. And McKinley had a lot of depressive issues that I don't think Harvey really quite understood. So it just kind of seemed like he did take him to, I think, a hospital at one point.
Oh, wow.
But this is all while he's living in New York.
Okay.
And he remained friendly with all of his exes. And then in 1971, he met a guy named Scott Smith, who was 18 years younger than him. And they would be together for the next 7 years as well. So around this time throughout Scott Smith and his relationship, they did move to San Francisco, and that's where the politics started. The politics is kind of what eventually tore them apart, but that's basically all I could find.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so off to his career. So after he left the Navy, he entered into civilian work in New York City. He was a public school teacher on Long Island, and then he had a stint as a stock analyst.
Wow.
And
he's just multifaceted.
He's just doing everything. I'm telling you, this guy is good at everything. In the 60s, he started befriending the theater people. The theater crowd, the avant-garde crowd. I'm just thinking like Greenwich again, all over again. But he started participating in protests and like anti-war protests. And he even burned his own bank card like in one of these protests. But he actually, because he was in this crowd, he kind of worked his way up and was a production associate for Broadway musicals for a time. And he worked on Jesus Christ Superstar and Hair, which are, I know Hair is a pretty big one. I didn't know Jesus Christ Superstar was a Broadway musical. And I was like, this just sounds like a Southern person trying not to cuss. But...
You're not wrong. Oh my God. Oh, what Jesus Christ Superstar.
Christ Superstar. It's like my mama saying sugar milk hecky darn once, and that's stuck. I've been saying it for 20 years. Okay, so the 60s and 70s, we see him really going into the politics and demonstrating against the Vietnam War. So in 1972, Harvey and Scott moved to San Francisco, and they opened a camera store on Castro Street. Castro Street, it's kind of like a very famous large area of San Francisco.
Okay.
Just think of it as like it's, I don't know. The pictures of it reminded me of, was it Broadway Street in New Orleans? Anyway, I can't think of the name. Merchant Street? Anyway, I can't think of it right now, but think of it a very wide, large area.
Yeah.
So
I think you're thinking of Canal Street, maybe.
Yeah, that's the one, Canal Street. My brain doesn't work, guys. It's been a rough few weeks. So they opened this camera store, and he just became ingrained in the culture of Castro Street. And people would come to this camera store to, one, to get stuff developed, but also for Harvey. He kind of named himself the mayor of Castro Street, and it stuck. Like, his camera store became like a neighborhood center.
Oh, that's so cute.
I know, I just want to be friends with this guy.
Is that, so I was looking at the skit, and there's a picture of him adorably smiling in front of a photo service sign. Is that in front of his camera store? Yeah, that's
his store.
Oh, yeah. He looks so happy.
Is he not the cutest thing?
He's so cute.
And the one next to it is him in one of the parades as well. So
okay.
And then there's two more. I don't know if you saw below.
Yes.
Of other people. Okay.
Okay.
I'll say who those are in a minute. So.
Okay.
He was such a good person. Apparently, someone he was an acquaintance with, he found out that she had a miscarriage. And, as soon as she got home from the hospital, he just showed up on her doorstep. Again, this is like an acquaintance with a dozen roses, offered to go get all of her groceries. Did she need anything? This was the kind of guy that he was. Like, and the woman was telling the story, and she was about to cry. She was just like, I hardly knew him at the time, and he showed up at my doorstep after this awful thing had happened. And in the 70s, that was not something you talked about. Like, you kept it, tight-lipped. You didn't talk about miscarriage. And here he was, just like, I know I barely know you, but, like, here's roses. Can I do your grocery shopping? Is there anything I can do to help you?
I've got, like, chills, and I've got, like that little knot in your throat of cry, and tears welling up in my eyes. Oh.
He's the sweetest.
That's so sweet.
In 1973, so just a little over a year of him being in San Francisco, he actually declared his candidacy for the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. Now, at this point, the Board of Supervisors was kind of like everyone, the whole board represented the whole city.
Okay.
That will make sense soon. So he lost that race, but on the other end of this race, at the end of this, he actually kind of made himself known as like kind of a force to be reckoned with in these local politics. And there were some merchants in the area who tried to prevent a few gay men from opening a store, and Milk and a few other businesses actually came together and founded the Castro Village Association. And this was the first organizing. Wow. Organizing. Like, this was the first organization of predominantly LGBTQ businesses.
Okay.
With Harvey as the president. And he organized the Castro Street Fair in 1974, not only to attract more customers to the area, but also to help in future candidacies.
Oh,
and
okay.
So they started this. The pictures from the 70s, like, I want to be there. I mean, this huge street is just Morgan's nightmare, filled with so many people. It looks like so much fun. People are like hanging off of balconies, and like there's vendors and everything. It's still going on to this day. October 5th, 2025. Go to San Fran. Go to the Castro Street Fair. It's a nonprofit. I will link the website in the show notes, but it looks like it is so much fun.
Oh, and it's like donation only.
Yeah, and it's
like,
donation only. So they're.
I went to like the merch, and there's a hat that I like. It's cute. I don't like the bill because it's like a snapback, but
oh yeah, but I do
that's
like
cute.
All of it. Oh, it's the 50th, or last year was the 50th annual, I guess.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
I bet the 50th anniversary was a huge deal.
Yeah. So October 5th, go to the Castro Street Fair.
Do it.
So it was a huge success. And it was a very effective, like, base for just gay people who have businesses to actually, succeed a little better.
And, like, make connections with each other.
Yes.
And yeah.
Because, like we've said a million times, the 70s was a rough time if you were gay. It's just a rough time.
Yeah.
Really, any form of minority was rough.
Mm-hmm.
So, in 1975, he ran again for San Francisco City and County Supervisor seat, narrowly lost. So he is gaining, I would say followers, but supporters every single time he's running. He legitimately had established himself as the leading political spokesman for the Castro community at
Wow.
this point. And there was a new mayor in town by this point, and that was Mayor George Moscone.
Okay.
And Moscone did appoint him to the City Board of Permit Appeals. So this made him the first openly gay city commissioner in the United States.
Oh, wow.
So in 1976, Harvey again filed candidacy papers for state assembly, lost that race. But, so these would be the 3 elections that he lost.
Mm-hmm.
Gaining, snowballing his support as he goes. But then there was a giant change in government. So Moscone realized that San Francisco is a big city and that different communities might need different things. And it might be better to have district communities. Supervisor.
Like the supervisor?
Each supervisor would have a district part of San Francisco. So this would break up. So instead of running as a whole, you would just be supervisor of the whole city. You would be your supervisor for, say, District 2, District 4. You'd have one supervisor per district.
That makes sense. And then that way each district has like a representative that can speak for them. Okay.
A voice. Absolutely. And this neighborhood plan was implemented. So in 1977, there was another election. And there was, they had a meeting outside the camera store. And apparently Harvey was so good with crowd work that if people were getting agitated, he'd be able to calm them down. If, people were like, cry and they're very emotional. He was very good with his crowd work, and he just kind of dressed like a normal person. He wasn't, he's just a dude who's trying to do what's best for his community. And he was running for District 5.
Okay.
And his campaign runner, the person in charge of all of this, was Anne Cronenberg, who was only 23 years old.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
They had no money. They were doing everything in this camera store. They had volunteers of literally, they said, all shapes and sizes. Old people, young people, gay, straight. Other minorities like Chinese, black. Just the whole gamut. Everyone wanted to help Harvey. Aww. Because he didn't just stand for gay rights. He stood up for everyone.
Yeah.
And that was his whole platform. It's like, I'm here to do what's best for everyone.
Right.
And he did everything. He had a hand in it. He would go, he'd walk the streets. He'd meet people. He'd go door to door. And in 1977, he easily won. And was inaugurated on January the 9th of 1978. He was the first openly gay elected official in the United States.
Oh.
And this was, so important and symbolic to the gay community because, just having that representation alone is huge. But, breaking doors down. And at this point, he was 47 years old. And apparently he never drank. But that night, he, popped a bottle of champagne and, poured it on himself. It was like a party.
Well, and this is only, you said 1978. So it hasn't even been 10 years since the Stonewall riots. So, that much progress being made in less than a decade. That's
crazy.
That should be appreciated for sure.
Yeah. And someone asked him, are you going to represent only the gays? And he was like, no, everyone. These are all of my people. What are you talking about? And other supervisors, I think this was such an incredible election because there were, I think, 11 supervisors in total within this election, we had the first openly gay. We had Ella Hill Hutch, who was the first African-American woman supervisor ever elected. Gordon Lau, the first Asian-American supervisor. And Carol Ruth Silver, who was an attorney and also a single mother. And that was unheard of in the 70s, too. Because how dare you not have a husband?
Right.
Yeah.
So this election was like shattering the glass ceiling in a way.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, I have to like write all this down, slow down, this is crazy. And then there was a guy named Dan White who was also elected. He was a police officer, then he was a fireman, he was a Vietnam War vet. He ended up quitting as a fireman to take his seat, and he was very well liked in his district and community. He had more, how do I say it? Traditional values. So he was, that's what I'm going to say about that. He had more traditional ideals on how things should be run. Yes. So he's in office and shit's popping off, right? So he wanted to meet President Carter, and he did. He ended up
that's
meeting
awesome.
him. And then Ruth Carter Stapleton was President Carter's sister, who is a very big evangelical, and actually made it publicly, like, said, if you convert yourself to, if you give yourself to Jesus Christ, your gay will go away. Like, told that to Harvey. Then they apparently at some point shook hands. I laughed out loud. And he said to her, "I'm surprised you shook my hand." She was like, "Why?" And he said, "Because you never know where my hand has been." She was like, funny. What have I?
Like, how? Okay. One, you're telling a man who's gay, like, as long as he converts to Christianity, his gay will go away. He's Jewish. Is she insinuating that, like, Judaism is making him gay?
Yeah, I listened to a couple interviews, and they were like, well, we can't, and I'll get a little more into this, how it's more relevant, but they were like, well, we can't let gay people teach our children because their influences on our children. And he was like, my parents were straight, so why am I gay?
Yeah. It's almost like our society, especially, like, it's gotten better recently, but for so long our society was so heteronormative. How was anyone gay?
Yeah.
And, like, because people were literally killed for it, but then there were still gay people. Like,
they just didn't say they were gay.
Yeah, it's like, it's not a choice.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah, and there was, at one point, someone was like, well, we need to get all the pedophiles out of the schools, so let's get rid of all the gay people. And he was like, those are different things.
Yeah, they are different things.
Way different things.
Not
like,
related at all.
You said that on TV, sir. Like, okay. Anyway, someone asked him what it's like to be an in-person, kind of, someone who the community likes. He's an elected official, so he's kind of like an in-person, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like,
and
he's accepted by the public. He's got a power among people.
Right. And he said, this is not a direct quote, pretty much, the non-white gay establishment have to deal with me. It's wonderful. He's just like, I'm here, I am me, and you have to deal with this. So he was really going for parks and schools and police and anything that affected the little people, all minorities. I mean, down to senior citizens.
Yeah.
And one of the things that got him on a lot of people's sides was apparently there was like a very big dog shit problem. And they were like, if you can solve the dog shit problem, we'll support you. People were like, we're not like picking up their dog poop in the parks, right?
Yeah.
So apparently he came up with like a pooper scooper ordinance, made it a big deal, literally planted dog poop on the lawn to step in on national television just to make a point. He was like committed. And by golly, he figured out the dog shit problem.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. And they had someone of the, I think it was the Chinese community, who, you know, that community just, I guess at the time didn't know a lot of English. So them being able to vote was very hard. Mm-hmm. They said he didn't even call. He just made the choice that going with this, it was called a vote-o-matic. I guess it was like some kind of electric voting system that would translate it the best. He said he didn't even have to call and ask which one would be best. He didn't have to make it known that he was working for us. He just did it automatically. He just pushed for us without us even asking.
So did they have like a Chinese voting machine? Like
I guess
Chinese
they had
language?
I think that's what they were alluding to, is that because of him, there was like a machine that was implemented that could translate for them to have more accessible voting.
That's awesome.
And he didn't even ask. He was just like, I see a need, I'm going to fill it.
Yeah.
It was just, he's making the best choice for them. So, just a list of some of the notable accomplishments. And guys, this is in 10 months. I need you to realize that, because we are quickly approaching his assassination. He did all of this in 10 months.
Wow.
Reform agenda, including gay rights, which Dan White ended up being the only person that voted against that. So just know that for the future. He sponsored anti-discrimination ballots as well, or bills, as well as establishing daycare centers for working mothers. He helped with converting military facilities in the city to low-cost housing. He helped reform tax code, and this was to attract industry to the warehouses and factories that had been deserted. He advocated for strong and safe neighborhoods, and he pressured the mayor's administration to improve services for the Castro, such as libraries and community policing.
He did so much. Like, he was like, I finally have a place of power. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to get shit done.
Oh my God. Do you know how long it takes for anybody to do anything? And like, he did all of this in less than a year.
It's like, he didn't care about any kind of red tape, like, or asking permission. He was like, I'm just going to do the damn thing. And he did it.
And he did it. This next part is literally haters gonna hate. So Harvey literally started getting hate mail because haters gonna hate.
Right.
And on the Gay Freedom Day, which was the speech that we read at the beginning, his people were terrified that somebody was just gonna shoot him, because in that picture he's just sitting on top of a car, just like, what's up, everyone? Hi. And he literally said it could happen any place at any time, and I'm just not gonna worry about it. I'm getting so many death threats and hate mail. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Wow.
And he literally recorded different wills to be played in the event of his death. Like, if I get shot in the head, play this. If I get beat to death, play this one. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I just need to sit on it for like just a second.
Yes, sit on it. He knew.
Wow. That's like so inspiring and soul crushing at the same time. Like, he knew he lived in a world where people did not agree with his existence. And he was like, my social change will kill me, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's doing it for literally everyone around him. It was a literal public sacrifice. He's like, someone has to do it. Here I am going to do it. I'm going to do everything I can. And if it kills me, it kills me.
Oh my God.
So, Proposition 6 comes around. So, this is one of an initiative brought on by California by State Senator John Briggs. So, a lot of times it's called the Briggs Initiative.
Okay.
Had this gone through, it was proposing that they mandated firing gay teachers in the state's public schools.
What?
Yes. Yeah. I think, you know how justice is not always linear?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the gay community had made a lot of wins, and I think there was pushback, and there was a lot of things being revoked.
Yeah.
So this was one of those things where it's like, oh, we've done too much. Oh, take away some rights.
Yeah.
It's never completely linear.
Yeah, we've talked about that before too, with just like restoration after the Civil War, and like Black voices got so prominent, and then it was like, nope, Jim Crow.
Yep, too much. Yep.
Yeah.
So that was the Briggs Initiative. So the gay pride parades in this year, I mean, astronomically swelled in San Francisco and LA as well. So Harvey and many others were campaigning against the Briggs Initiative. This is where we're seeing those interviews where it's like, well, the gays are pedophiles, so we should take them out. And he's just like, what?
Mm-hmm.
That's not even like a thing. And they were trying to use like statistics, and it's like, none of these statistics are like even matching up. So, in one of these speeches, he said that gay people, we will not win our rights by staying quietly in our closets. He urged people to come out of their closets.
Yeah.
He said, quote, "We are coming out to fight the lies, the myths, the distortions. We are coming out to tell the truths about gays, for I am tired of the conspiracy of silence. So I'm going to talk about it, and I want you to talk about it. You must come out." He wanted, because if he thought that if everyone came out, what were they going to do? Fire like a quarter of all the teachers out there?
Right. Like, when you see how many people are actually gay or queer, like, it's too many, you know? Like,
yeah. It's just they're not talking about it. Just because they don't say anything doesn't mean it's not true.
Right.
So, thankfully, Proposition 6 was defeated 61 to 49%.
Okay. That's good.
I don't know if that math was mathing. 61 to 39%, maybe? I knew it was 61. I might have messed up that math. It was a landslide, okay?
Okay.
And he was literally at his height of this political power. Unfortunately, 4 days after the Briggs Initiative lost, Dan White, remember, very traditional Dan White, resigned from the Board of Supervisors. So he was frustrated by the job. I mean, I will say, he had left his job. He went from like a Vietnam vet to a police officer to a fireman. Very good paying job. He then quit his job for the low pay of the board of supervisors. And
it's like a public service job, and it's just public service job.
His wife had to pick up a job to pay the bills. It was just, he was having a rough go at it. I will say that.
Yeah.
He was very frustrated by this job, and so he resigned 4 days after the Briggs Initiative. I don't think Dan White really agreed with a lot of the other things that San Francisco Board of Directors or Board of Supervisors was doing at the time. So he I don't think he was very good at maybe compromising at all. So he resigned on a Friday, and then by Monday morning he was like, just kidding, I want to come back. I changed my mind.
Okay.
That's a good look, right? So Moscone was the only person who could say if he could come back or not. So at this point, it was up to the mayor to appoint someone, whether that be let Dan come back or find a replacement.
Right.
Harvey lobbied pretty hard for him not to come back. Other supervisors, they said, didn't really want him back either, but they weren't going to get involved. Because, like, what if he did come back and now they all have to, like, stare at each other and, like...
Right.
You're like, oh, we didn't want you here. But...
Yeah. And I'm sure Harvey felt like maybe Dan was, like, acting against his own self-interest and his thoughts of, like, this is what progress is, and you're hindering my view of progress.
So Harvey lobbied pretty hard against him coming back to the mayor, and Harvey and the mayor were pretty close at the time. Like, I mean, they saw a lot of things eye to eye.
Yeah.
And then, so Dan was trying to basically get himself reelected, quote unquote. I mean, try to convince. So he was out there in the public eye, and then everything was about Dan White for a while. But then there was something at Jonestown that happened in Guana. It was a murder-suicide. It was like 918 people died of cyanide poisoning in this settlement. And this happened at the same time, and it, like, kind of upstaged Dan. So then he kind of fell to the wayside because people were shocked that, like, 918 people died of cyanide poisoning, which is fair. And I was like, how is this even relevant? Why is this documentary even saying this? But I think at the time, not only did it just kind of push him to the side, I think people were kind of looking for some normalcy. And I think his abrupt... this is just me speculating. His abrupt departure was just like, we need someone stable because the world is falling to shit kind of vibe is what I'm getting from it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they were just like, if you get mad because one thing didn't go your way, I don't think you should be in here.
Like, that's a little too reactive.
Yes. So... Mayor Moscone was scheduled to announce on November 27th of 1978 who was going to take that seat. And it wasn't going to be Dan.
Okay.
So, November 27th of 1978, about 10:45, Dan realized he was not going to be reappointed. Dan, and I'm going to need you to really sit on these events, okay?
Okay.
Put a gun in his pocket, in his pants or however, had a pocket full of ammo, just like pocket full of loose ammo. Went to City Hall, broke in through the basement window to avoid the metal detectors. He went to the mayor's office, They had a quick argument. And then Dan shot and killed the mayor.
Oh my
shot
God.
him once, then shot him 2 more times in the head. He then reloaded his gun, walked to the other side of City Hall, and I will spare you the details, but let's just say Harvey was shot 5 times.
Oh my God.
So Harvey was killed at about 11:10. I mean, it took 30 minutes. Just sitting at his own desk.
Oh man. Oh my God.
So people were, I mean, outraged, of course, but
I'm sure they were devastated.
Devastated. I mean, people gathered at the city hall. That night, they had a candlelit vigil where they walked down Castro Street, and I'm getting chills. I mean, It was silent, eerily silent. Everyone had candles, and it was so somber and peaceful, and it really did send a message that their first response was peace and not violence and just sorrow. And
man, I'm gonna cry.
I know it. Some say it is one of the most eloquent responses to violence that a community has ever expressed. It was just eerie silent.
Oh my God.
Thousands of people. Castro Street was full of people.
See, and I didn't even know
go ahead.
I knew that Harvey had been assassinated, but I didn't even know the mayor had been killed too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all. Oh man, that's so sad.
And they
Poor
were
Moscone.
48 and 49 years old. Shot because Dan just couldn't. Anyway, we're going to get into Dan in a second.
Yeah.
The following week, people came out of the closet in droves, which is exactly what Harvey stood for. They were like, we've had enough. I'm gay.
Yeah. Oh.
And like I said, he had recorded a bunch of wills.
Yeah.
He taped one that said, if a bullet should ever enter my brain, let that bullet destroy every closet door.
Oh man, I'm really gonna cry. Oh man. Oh man.
And people started in Washington, D.C., people were marching just very shortly after his death, and they were chanting, Harvey Milk lives. 5 months after the assassination, Dan went on trial. Get your mad pants on. Okay, so
oh boy,
a jury was selected, and someone did in the documentary point out that they excluded anyone who had a differing point of view than Dan. So
what?
No people of color, no gay people, no minorities. And I think it's because they felt like anyone in those, because he was just a person for everyone, they would be biased. But also, yeah, you've just made it more biased.
Yeah.
So they spent 3 days proving that he committed the murders, and they even played Dan White's confession. And in this confession, he literally made the jury feel bad for him.
What?
Like, he was like, I've been going through such a hard time, and like my wife had to get a job, and like our son is at a babysitter's house, and like he's crying, and like the jury's starting to feel bad for him. And he claimed he went to Harvey's office to talk to him.
Why were you going to talk to him after literally just killing the mayor and your pocket full of bullets?
I know.
What?
Keep those mad pants on. So his defense attorney said it was normal for people to have a gun on them for protection.
What?
Which is fair. It's normal to have a gun on you for protection. Yes, if you were an elected official, I could understand. You probably get a lot of threats. Whatever. It is not normal to break into the fucking basement
of the place you work and then shoot 2 people in the face.
There was literally an interview with his wife, and his wife, Marianne, was like, I saw his confession, and I just felt so bad for Dan. Ma'am, your husband just killed 2 people. And you feel bad for him?
Oh my God. I'm going to have
All
a
right.
hernia.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse. He had 5 psychiatric tests done to say that he had done it in the heat of the moment. And they concluded, you're not going to believe the words that are about to come out of my mouth, okay? He consumed too many Twinkies that day, and that the junk food went to his head, and that he wasn't thinking correctly. He literally, this was known as like the Twinkie trials or something like that they called it.
Oh my God.
That he should not be held accountable for his crimes because he had too many Twinkies.
Are cakes intoxicating? Do they change your brain chemistry? I cannot.
That's not a thing, right?
No.
That's not a fucking thing.
Unless he's got like this weird, like, super specific allergy to sugar and high fructose corn syrup and cake that has literally never manifested before this time, that like completely alters his brain chemistry in a way to make him homicidal, which is not a thing. That's literally not a thing. What I listen to a lot of true crime. I have never heard of junk food insanity being used as an excuse for a double homicide.
Yeah.
What?
Fucking premeditated. You can't tell me that wasn't premeditated when you broke through the window.
You left your house with a gun and bullets.
Went straight there. Broke into a basement window. Shot one dude 3 times. One dude 5 times. But you had too many Twinkies, so you can't be held accountable.
I literally cannot.
Yes. And they were very specific. It was Twinkies, damn it.
Oh my God. I'm trying to bankrupt the Twinkie corporation. Don't eat Twinkies, they'll make you moida.
I'm going to start telling my kids that you can't have Twinkies. I can't have you homicidal in this household. So the trial concluded in just 11 days. And because the jury just felt so bad for him, it went down from murder to manslaughter. 2 to 4 years each was the sentencing. And then 2 years for using a gun in City Hall. So he was looking at 2 to 12 years. He was sentenced to less than 8 years in prison on May 21st of 1979.
For murdering 2 men.
Yeah. And that was the
broad daylight.
It was the day before Milk's 49th birthday. Is when he was sentenced.
Ugh.
This ignited what would be known as the White Night Riots.
Oh.
People literally stormed City Hall.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, oh my God. They were setting police cars on fire.
Holy shit.
I mean, imagine Woodstock 99, but in the middle of San Francisco City Hall. Like, we
Wow.
want justice was one of the chants. And somebody who was interviewed said, you can replace a goddamn glass door, but you can't replace Harvey.
Aww.
People were so mad. They were breaking the doors, the windows. Anything that could be broken, they broke. Because they were like, yeah, he's going to get the chair because he killed 2 people. And then that was just a slap in the wrist. They felt like had he just killed the mayor, he would have gotten the chair.
Mm-hmm.
But they felt like because Harvey was gay, neither of them got justice.
I don't condone violence. I will never condone violence. I understand it. And I understand I'm losing my shit over the fact that these 2 men are not getting justice.
Yeah. Who have done so much for the city at large, not just their own community.
But for all of San Francisco.
Yes. And Harvey really he had made it very clear he didn't want violence to follow in the footsteps of anything that happened to him.
Of course. I think if Dan had gotten like an appropriate sentencing, this violence would not have happened. The riots would not have happened.
It wouldn't.
This is a reaction to injustice.
So he was released January the 7th of 1984 after serving only 5.5 years and receiving absolutely no psychiatric help at all while in prison. And apparently...
Well, clearly he needed some because Twinkies just make him homicidal.
Seriously.
Apparently.
And in 1984, I don't know if this was before or after his release, apparently he confessed to a homicide detective that he had also targeted another one of the supervisors, but she just happened to not be there. Like,
Oh my God. You know what? I'm not wanting to completely derail your episode, but I just remembered, I read earlier today, we're recording on a Tuesday, this most recent Saturday on the 14th, some legislators in Minnesota were targeted, and 2 were shot at, and then one congresswoman and her husband were killed. Yes. And another congressman and his wife thankfully did survive. Or maybe it was the other way around. I'm not 100% sure. I think I'm right. But I was reading a BBC article that they had found a list that the killer had made, and there was a whole list of like Democratic legislators, like I think at least 70 Democratic legislators on this list that he was planning to target.
Oh my God.
And I think he was actually arrested at another congresswoman's house, but he was apprehended by police before he could do anything. And that
doesn't sit right with me. Disagree on politics all you want. Mm-hmm. Nothing is worth killing someone else over.
I agree. And, I know this wasn't your intention because this had not even happened.
No. Not
when
I picked this like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And it's still happening that people are, like, lawmakers are being killed over disagreements in politics. And this shouldn't happen. I don't agree with a lot of politicians, but I can imagine being so angry at a politician I would leave my house with a gun to go shoot them.
No.
I cannot imagine doing that.
We've forgotten how to agree to disagree on certain things. This is insanity. All of this is
really
insanity.
it really is.
And another crazy thing is I came across when I was looking up more of Dan White, because after this, I mean, I was looking into Harvey. So like it kind of stopped talking about Dan. He died like the year after he was released from prison.
Oh, wow.
Suicide by carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh my God. I wonder if he couldn't live with the guilt.
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I mean, how do you get a job after that? How do you...
I mean, you would have to move towns, change names. I mean, you would forever...
family have to change.
Yeah. Wow. Or a series of extremely impulsive... I don't disagree that these were probably impulsive decisions, but it was definitely premeditated.
Yes. He had the entire... I don't know if he walked or drove, but he had the entire journey from his home to City Hall to think about what he was going to do. To change his mind, to stop himself, and he did.
Yeah. To the point where, like, he broke into City Hall so he wouldn't be caught.
Yes, I mean,
he knew exactly what he was doing.
If he just walked through the front doors just to go talk, I'd be like, okay, that was heat of the moment.
Like, if he was in such a manic state, he didn't even think about security and the x-rays.
Yeah. No, he thought about it. He was like, oh my God, there's security, so I need to go through the window.
Anyway.
Pissed. Okay, so legacy. He's obviously been the subject of many operas and books and films. Immediately there were documentaries about him. So The Mayor of Castro Street was in 1982. The Times of Harvey Milk was in 1984. That was the one that I watched. And then there was a drama, Milk, in 2008. I did not watch it. Yes, but I remember it coming out. So
yeah, I do too.
And there are tons of public schools named after him, especially in San Francisco. And the federal building at the U.S. Job Corps Center on Treasure Island in San Francisco is named after him. And public recreation center, public library, plaza. I mean, there's a shit ton. And there is a memorial plaque, and it says, his life is an inspiration to all people committed to equal opportunity and to end bigotry. So, and apparently there's like a ship that is named after him that people are trying to get unnamed after him. Like they're trying to change the name this month. And I think that's very hateful. And they should not do that. So leave him alone. Leave his ship alone. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, there's even a gay community center in the city of Verona, Italy, named after him.
Aww.
And just like, I'm literally just like skimming through because there's just so many. He was listed in Time Magazine's list of most 100 important people in the 20th century.
Yeah.
There's a statue of him, and May 22nd, his birthday, is annual Harvey Milk Day.
Oh.
So, that just passed us. I wish I'd known that before, because I know. Celebrate it.
Yeah.
And I just want to leave you with a couple of really good quotes from him. So, my favorite quote, "Don't let people happen to you."
I like that one.
Yeah. Give me your support and I'll fight for you.
Yeah.
I would like to see every gay doctor come out, every gay lawyer, every gay architect come out, stand up and let the world know. Let that world know. That would do more to end prejudice overnight than anybody would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I have tasted freedom, and I will not give up that which I have tasted.
Hmm.
And the last one, is all men are created equal. No matter how hard they try, they can never erase those words. That is what America is about.
Finger snaps. I agree.
And that's Harvey Milk.
Oh, you were right. It's so lovely and so devastating of a topic. Oh my gosh. Rest in glory and peace,
Yes.
Harvey Milk. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Like his, and I didn't mention Morgan, that I'm sure you figured it out, but the two guys, you know, the guy with Harvey in that picture is Mayor Moscone. And then the guy to the right is Dan White. So,
I figured.
I mean, look how happy they look together.
I know.
They were buddies.
Also, Dan White has the most 1970s haircut I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God, those sideburns are
Yeah.
They're killing me. They're sending me.
Yes. Aw. They do look so happy. Oh. And poor Moscone. Like, I know, like, today's episode was about Harvey Milk, but
Right.
in my very far distance from San Francisco, I've heard of Harvey Milk before.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Moscone before, and
No.
it seems like his story tends to get a little bit lost in the story about Harvey Milk.
Yeah. I know. I feel like I wasn't really giving anything away when I brought it up at the beginning that he was assassinated, because no one else, I was like, there's still going to be a surprise in there, you know, for storytelling purposes.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows that Moscone was killed as well.
Yeah.
It's always Harvey Milk was killed. Harvey Milk was killed. It's like, damn it, Mayor Moscone seemed like a good guy too.
Yeah.
Talk about him.
And he definitely didn't deserve to be murdered.
No. And he didn't get justice either.
No, he didn't. Ugh. Well, I've got a lot of feelings
I know. For one, don't eat Twinkies.
God, no. You'll murder your mayor and representative in a Twinkie-filled rage, apparently, according to Dan White and his defense lawyers.
I mean, how many, logistically, like, how many Twinkies did he eat to go crazy?
I would be more inclined to kill myself if I've eaten that many Twinkies before I'm ever inclined to kill anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bullshit argument, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, like...
They did not mention a number of Twinkies.
No, because it's a bullshit argument.
That he consumed more junk food, and that leads to symptoms of depression.
Oh my God. Like, I think... Well, and they couldn't because they could drug test, but I think an argument of, like, he was intoxicated in some way through, like, drugs or alcohol would be a better argument than fucking Twinkies. Oh my God. I've been listening to true crime, specifically true crime, for the past, like, 6 years, and I've been watching true crime since I was a kid. Never. And there's some bullshit excuses that people will come up with.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
But I have never, ever, ever in my entire life heard that someone ate too many Twinkies and that made them homicidal. And that absolved them from murder.
Not even junk food in general. Like, you can't just tell me that you're stressed and you ate a Twinkie and... Sorry, I killed 2 people.
Stress would be a better argument.
Yes. He literally just said, I'm sorry I killed these people. I was stressed. That was basically his entire confession. And they were
Which is a bullshit argument.
Oh, no, you were so stressed.
You quit! You quit! It's not like he was fired. It's not like he got a hissy fit.
He threw a temper tantrum. I thought the same thing. Yes. My 6 and 7-year-old children have better anger management skills than that.
Yeah.
And they fought all day today.
Yeah. I'm sure they did. Are they still grounded?
No, thank God. Their rooms are a wreck again. So they're about to get another round of grounding because we can't.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot. They have yet to break anything else.
Okay, that's good. No more tables broken.
No. No. I literally mowed the yard yesterday, and Nick wasn't home, so I was like, I have to mow it. It's like getting really tall, and I just put them to work. I was like, here's some rakes, go run around in the yard while I mow. I'll keep an eye on you, I guess. Like, and it worked out great.
Good.
It's fine.
They needed some outside time. They needed
Oh
some
my
physical
God.
labor.
Yeah, because I keep telling them, like, if you just pick up your room, you can go do whatever you want outside. And it's not working. I might have to do it backwards, where it's like, go spend an hour out there and then come in and then clean your room. And I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we do socials?
Let's do socials.
Okay. You can find us on Facebook,
Ill-Equipped History podcast group and page,
Instagram,
at Ill-Equipped History,
TikTok,
at Ill-Equipped History,
Gmail,
ill-equippedhistory@gmail.com,
and Patreon.
Patreon.com/ill-equippedhistory.
$5 a month gets you bonus episodes and stickers.
Woo!
And
we
doodle.
do. Yes, we do have a $1 a month tier that just gets you a sticker and a doodle. But
Yes.
for $5, you get extra bonus episodes. We have, how many do we have? Like 14?
14, 15. And
I don't
some of
remember.
them are like 3 hours long. So it's
Yeah.
so much extra content, guys.
Yes.
So much.
Yes, you have like days worth of extra content. And if we're doing our next idea that we came up with, it's going to be a really good one.
Of course it is. I didn't forget what it was at all. I would never. Whisper it to me and I'll edit it out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a really good one. Haha, I edited it out. Haha, you won't know.
You won't know unless you sign up for our Patreon.
Nanny, nanny, boo, boo.
Well,
Well.
fight for social justice like Harvey Milk did and better society.
Yes.
Just do that.
And be kind when you're doing it.
Yes.
Be kind.
Yes.
Being hateful gets you nowhere. And there are times to fight and there are times to uplift.
Yes.
Know the difference, please.
Yes. And in all seriousness, do everything you do with love.
Yes.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.